Hey everyone,
Hi.
welcome to a special video presentation of tarot for today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. We're actually today doing an election prediction that we are not going to publish till after the election. But we're doing this today on November 1st, 2020 at approximately, it looks like 5:18 p.m.
Right.
Eastern Standard Time. And we're doing this because we just want to see if, number one, we are able to accurately predict any trends here, but we do not want to influence in any way people going out to vote or anything like that. We want to just objectively see what the tarot might predict as far as the election results go.
So if you see this, it basically will either say we were right or we were not right.
We're putting our rep on the line here, but we just want to see what'll happen. The tarot's just a snapshot in time, and hey, it's not always right. We're not always right, and we're willing to take a chance and just throw things out there and see what happens. Because this affects a lot of people. There's so much dissension right now. If anything, we just hope that everybody goes out and votes.
In a possible brilliant flashpoint or not light bulb, I said, let's use the after tarot, which is the unique kind of new take on Rider-Waite tarot.
Yes, and so it's kind of like what happens after the card. I'm not so sure we're going to read it that way, but it's the idea of using the after tarot and publishing this after the election.
So we developed a number of questions, and we're going to take them on one by one and employ mostly
This deck.
And maybe just a couple of variations on how to ask the question. Some are obvious yes or no, some are what we normally do, a 3-card pull and see how it resonates.
And there are more issues than just the election at stake. There's worries about the election process. We're going to get in, we didn't ask that question, did we? Will there be any tampering in the election?
No, we didn't.
We did not ask that.
Show up.
Maybe we'll see if it shows up. But we have some pointed questions here that we're going to get into. And the first one we are tackling is the one everybody wants to know, is who is going to win the election. How many?
2? Or do you think 3? I don't know.
We're going to try 3 cards for each choice. The president, who's in office right now,
The incumbent.
The incumbent is first, and then the challenger is second. Okay, let's read for the incumbent first. We have the 3 of, I should show the cards, the 3 of Wands, and that is reversed. We have the 5 of Wands, and that is upright. And we have the 6 of Wands, and that is reversed. These are interesting cards indeed. Let's look at the challenger real quickly and hold these cards up for you. We'll refer to them again. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Swords reversed. We have the Ace of Wands upright. So just a little thing on how we're going to read this here. These are not in any set positions other than this. These are cards we drew to see what the incumbent's chances were, and these were cards we drew to see what the challenger's chances were. And we're going to kind of read them, together in each category to come up with our story. And I would have to say for the incumbent, Mr. O, number one, with this card right here, The Seven of Wands, it's clear that they feel they have the upper hand or the higher ground, and they are not willing to let go of that ground without a fight.
Okay. And I would say that just it's seriously competitive attitude there.
However, the first card we drew was the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands was reversed, and it indicates to me that maybe it's possible that something might not turn out the way they would have liked because of bad planning. Bad things not properly put in place.
Well,
maybe the message did not carry through.
It sort of seems like there was either a delay or there were some things that happened that disrupted a continuity, and that caused delays.
It could be COVID.
Yeah, it could be
in
that
a way.
too.
It could be. This last card here is the Six of Wands reversed, and you will notice there's somebody riding a horse. Looks like they're riding to victory, but it is reversed, which means setbacks, which means failure. I feel that there's no victory showing here.
That's pretty much what I get from that, and I would normally get that from the regular Rider-Waite Tarot, that the Six of Wands reverse sort of indicates the absence of a victory or of a clear victory.
And you know what's really interesting about these cards? They're all wands. Would you consider wands the cards of a businessman?
I would, because that's
literally
what they are. Yeah.
So business enterprising. We have somebody here who is definitely a fighter, definitely in it to hold on to what they have gained. But there is a sense of not really, well, like I think you said too, maybe unexpected things caused some problems, some issues.
It could be both. It seems like it could be both. Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the challenger here, because we have a bit of a different story, but I don't know. This is interesting too. We have the Page of Pentacles again upright, which means to me that somebody is starting off on a journey that has to do with what? With material matters, with
Well, you see the little earth spirit there, the gnome, and I guess I get the idea here that there's sort of a humility, there's a humbleness about this kind of character, although in some legends, they might be a little bit trollery or whatever. But this sort of says like it's a salt to the earth kind of character. And
does it look like maybe he's sharing that with the gnome?
Right, there's something that's about to be shared there, and so it looks, like a more
it looks like somebody who's willing to share their talents. And somebody who is an apprentice, though, which is kind of interesting, too, because I don't really consider the challenger, the Democrat, much of an apprentice. But, of course, this could be hearkening back to the fact that
they have to learn new things.
That they were vice president, and now they're entering the new realm, potentially.
Okay.
But let's take a look at that, because we have the Knight of Swords reversed here, and oftentimes that means a decision that maybe isn't favorable, or
well, I would say that it means that some of their actions were needless, that really they kind of overstepped a little bit, and that maybe there was an over-aggressiveness. An overreach and over-aggressiveness that maybe, when you look at it right side up, and then you look at it upside down, and this is that after tarot, I think the idea here was that they felt a little bit over-entitled to some of their decisions and some of their actions. That doesn't necessarily mean that those actions were unwarranted or whatever, but it does sort of indicate kind of like...
We're going to have a chat. I think that's very interesting what you said, but I'm thinking of something else here. Mm-hmm. But let's go on. Let's move on, because this, I think, this is like the beginning of something new, a great new undertaking of some sort, enterprise, something growthful. And I almost think that means that they're saying that the challenger could win this election.
It's interesting to note, too, that it's a wand like the wands of the incumbent spread. So, So it could be saying they're the top one, they're the top business person, and things would really change from that point of view, I suppose, of how business is done, quote unquote.
So we could do a yes no to solidify this, but I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident about this, but I'll tell you what, Mr. O. I'm going to move that Seven of Wands here to the middle, and I'm going to move that Knight of Swords here to the middle. What do you think I'm leaning towards here? Any ideas?
What it means to put them together?
Yes.
Because I did sort of
Do you
feel
think
there were
a
some
legal fight might be in the offing?
Yes, it's interesting. Maybe we should throw another card on that.
Okay, want to grab one from yours? All
Do you
right.
want to use the regular
Either way,
or this
that's
one?
fine.
Okay. So I'm going to use this.
Are we going to be able to tell what card is what in here?
Yes, this is clearly, we can tell what card it is. It's the, sorry.
You can't think of the name. That's all right.
You know, it's one of those ceremonial things.
Ceremonial decks. Correct.
Yes.
And I'm sure somebody will recognize the backs and know right away.
It's classic. It's Golden Dawn. That's what it is.
Oh my
No, it's
gosh.
not Golden Dawn. It's something like them, though. Never mind.
Quit while you're ahead, Mr. O. I thought we had a fantastic reading here, so
It really was.
memory
yeah,
just
so.
didn't serve you there because you were so focused with your intuition on this. All right. Yeah, I'm wondering about this now. I'm hoping this doesn't mean that through some legal maneuvering he will not get it. I mean, I want to see people win fair and square. That is for sure. That is 100% for sure.
Well, there's nothing that specifically says legal maneuvering, or what do you
Well, it's a judgment. It's a decision.
There
And
is
so I
that.
thought, and the swords are about legal matters.
So this first card is
justice.
going to cover the Seven of Wands, and it's the Chariot reversed.
Go ahead, put it down. I want to see the second card.
And then the next
This
card
is so
covers the Knight
wild.
of Swords, and it's the Prince of Swords, which is the same card, I think. I think
Yeah,
it's the same card.
You're absolutely right. They're both Knights of
And
Swords.
My
I think
immediate,
there's a legal battle.
there's a legal battle, but my immediate thought is that they hold true. They just hold true. They hold steady. Whereas this thing vacillates into not really having control. The Chariot
Right, the Chariot
reversed.
is reversed, which means there's a loss of control there. But maybe that's why there's the legal battle, because they don't want to lose that ground. The Chariot also indicates that there's a standstill here, I think, too. You're kind of stuck, you know? So I have a feeling you might be right. Election
be
day.
right.
Everybody's worried about going to the polls and what could happen there. So we're going to throw 3 cards to just see if everything looks safe and secure for election day, and just see what the mood and the atmosphere is going to be, if there's anything that stands out. Hopefully it will go without a hitch. Oops. I am moving the set. There. Okay. We have the Two of Pentacles reversed. We have the King of Wands reversed. We have the Ten of Swords upright. So how do we want to read this? I sense there could be some problems election day. I do feel that there is aggressive energy, misapplied. And, well, I'm going to reserve judgment on that. But the king, of course, is somebody who's an authority figure. And so I will say it. I'm almost tempted to say that maybe somebody who is an authority figure is fueling aggressive actions for election day. And we have the Two of Pentacles reversed here. What do you say about that, Mr. Rob?
Well, this feels...
Oh, you want to go there first.
This feels very overly righteous, and it feels overly magnanimous, but more, I guess, self-centered, egotistical. This...
Yeah, I'll let you go first on this one.
This feels like things are really out of control. It's normally wood. I'm trying to see into the after tarot with it, and it just sort of sounds like there are things coming that are threatening normalcy, stability, and that's what's going to be crucially affected by this all, or could be.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a balance. Everything is a bit out of balance on election day. So it's kind of chaotic. It may also be, it might also indicate things like, we know that a lot of people voted in advance. We know this already, but there's still people going to the polls. And then there's this coronavirus thing. And then there's people from both sides wanting to protect the integrity of the election. And so there's just a lot of chaotic energy. And it does seem as though it's going to be, that kind of chaos is going to be present on election day. And coupled with that King card, I'm not very happy seeing that. I'm not.
Well, we're less happy to see that.
We're less happy getting the Ten of Swords at the end. But do notice up here, we do have the sun in the Ten of Swords. Do we want to address this at all? It looks like the sky is breaking, I guess what I'm trying to say.
Well, like the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it looks fairly final, like somebody was dispatched from the mortal coil. There's only the sense of maybe being discovered or being known and being taken away and laid to rest properly. They put their sword over their chest, and so the idea is that
it's over.
There's an overness. There's a finality about what happens, and so maybe you can interpret any number of things about it. Who is it over for? What is actually over? There is light on the horizon.
There is light on the horizon. We're just going to have to get through an ugly day, I think. And ultimately, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And once it's done, well, it looks like it's done. We're going to do some other readings to see, because obviously, with things the way they are, it's not necessarily going to be all decided on election day. So that's going to lead us to our next question here, Mr. O. Will an outcome be clear on election night, or when? How soon will we know? We're going to try to discern that through 3 cards again, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, let's switch decks when we do the yes or no's.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe we'll go back to...
I'd rather use the
regular Rider-Waite?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Those aces are pretty clear, and everything else.
All right, let me do one more.
So while we're recording this on Sunday night, November 1st, or just before Sunday evening,
Right. Well, it's going to be evening by the time we're done.
we are not sure when it will actually be released. We'll probably wait for a couple of days after the election until there's some clear sign that the winner has been decided.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll wait for the winner. We'll see. We have to think about this. My main purpose was to wait till after the vote so that, people don't get discouraged voting, whatever the case may
That's
be. I
true,
didn't
yeah.
want to influence anything on or before Election Day.
Well,
Afterwards, it's already there. So
and the
whatever
idea
will be,
about
will be.
pointing out some of the energy and consequences of Election Day a day or two later, as seen by us, would be an important point for us to want, to get across.
Yeah, and remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. I probably should have said that at the beginning. Mr. O can maybe put something on the screen there.
Oh, it'll be there.
It'll be there. But, keep that in mind. We're just trying to see what we can discern through the cards and our intuition on what lies ahead. So, will an outcome be clear on election night, or how soon will we know? Oh man, I don't know if this is going to tell us. So,
It may be no.
we've got the Seven of Swords reversed. We've got the seven, it's another Seven of Pentacles reversed. And we have Judgment reversed.
Well, without looking anymore at just those stark images, it seems like no, this decision will not be
right after.
secured right after the election, by that evening, by the next morning even.
There may be deceptions uncovered, whether that means election improprieties, voting improprieties, whether that means just some different, attempts at, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Entrapments?
Attempts at circumventing the process somehow,
Well, I think I'm more afraid about what this card says that might get away. I'm sort of thinking that there were safeguards which were meant to capture or to delay, and those may be overturned since the card's reversed. I don't know. That's how I'm looking at that.
Well, and then here, this might just, this card to me seems to indicate that it's just going to take time to get all those ballots counted. I feel that this is like, they're going to be working on it.
There's going to probably be differing levels of a sluggishness or complacency about that versus the need and the urgency to get it done. And people will be trying to use their official agency or powers to affect that outcome.
I mean, can't there be, there can be counts and recounts, right? So once it's counted, people might request recounts and, delay that process more.
But see, in the case of 2000, the Supreme Court was called in to stop the counting.
Well, in one case, but wasn't there? Well, I guess you're right. This is interesting. So what do you make of the Judgment card here? Because that is reversed, and I'm feeling that karma's going to be, but for who?
Well, I would suggest that basically this is a judgment that is reached whenever it is, however soon, but without any real changes in the spiritual value of all the participants. Those that feel the way they do will continue, and vice versa. And so we can say, oh, well, this side was the morally correct side, this side was not, or this side was the ethically. But that's for individuals to decide for themselves to most degrees. And the evidence is there. And if you choose wrong, well, then there's either denial, cognitive dissonance, whatever. We're not here to do that.
We're not here to judge.
What we're here, though, right, judgment, what we're here to suggest is that the divide between us will still remain, and that there's probably a real bad consequence about all
of that. Yeah, I don't feel super good about this. I'm not sure people are going to be satisfied with the count when it's done. And I have to agree with Mr. O that it's not going to be right away. And that...
some will always think that there was some sort of duplicity about it. This card sort of, one way or the other, sort of reeks of secret agendas or maneuvers. And so it looks to me like somebody's always going to have feelings. It's going to be like, for decades after JFK was killed, was assassinated, people always thought that there was complicity on certain agency or government or situations, acts. And it's like today, you can't convince people now that either or side is not guilty of some horrible crime that each other says.
We have 2 more questions after this one, but this first one is going to be, or this next one is going to be, will the election results be contested? Yes or no? We're just going to do a flat yes or no on that. Although I have a feeling from that previous reading there, I wouldn't be, just from that alone, I wouldn't be surprised about that. Thank you. Okay, Mr. O, where have you hid the aces in this deck?
That was the first thing I wanted to do, is make sure that somehow the aces hadn't
Because
slipped
after
out.
that last reading, I can't believe we're getting a definite no. It won't be contested. So
But that's what it is.
We'll give you the cards. I'll show you them in a minute. But I'm thinking to myself, maybe does that mean that it will be such a huge vote one way or the other, and we thought it was a challenger, that it will be hard to contest it once they're all counted? I find that hard to believe. But here we have the Hermit reversed. We have the Five of Wands, and that is reversed. And another 5. So it's another 5 in the reading, the 5 of Pentacles, and that is reversed.
Well, it's very interesting.
It
if it
is.
says the absolute no that this method would imply, because of that last reading that just sort of seemed like there was really
There's going to be a fight.
A dark forecast. Yeah. I did verify that the other 4 aces were actually somewhere within the realms of the remaining deck.
Well, now if we're going to use that deck again, you got to make sure they're mixed in there, because but the Hermit reversed, I don't know, there's something about the Hermit reversed. It really, to me, depicts, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at the Hermit reversed as like taking knowledge out to the world at large. Maybe the thing is, it's just going to be such a clear decision that people can't contest it.
I was going to say it sort of is an acceptance, and an acceptance of humility, because maybe it's saying like, we're not all of us collectively the most wise persons in the world, and sometimes we have to accept the wisdom of a clear majority, maybe. In this essence.
Yeah. And then we have the 5, of course, reversed, the 5 of Wands. And to me, this seems to act like at some point here, somebody's given up the fight.
Giving up.
Somebody is just saying, okay, yeah, I guess it's done. And they've given up. and they're accepting the fact that they have to try to move on from there, heal from there.
Right,
Lick their wounds.
realizing that they've been down as low as they can, and that they really have to try to get up.
And there's only one way to go from there, and that's back up. Wow. I don't know what to make of this. I almost think this is the one we could be wrong on if I had to pick thus far, but I don't know. So let's see what else we've got in store here, eh?
Okay.
Make sure you mix them up well, because I think we have another yes, no coming. Will there be social unrest after the election results are revealed? After the final results are revealed. How will society at large take this? So let's take a look at that. We're doing a yes-no, though, because we really want to know if there's going to be some serious conflict. Everybody keeps thinking, you know, and preparing. I've heard that there are people stockpiling food and stuff because of the election, not COVID. I mean, I could see where COVID is concerned, but I just can't believe we've come to this point where we have to worry that we're going to have an all-out war over an election. So anyway, the eternal optimist, me. Well, not completely. All right. Oh, okay, Mr. O. Are you going to count these out?
Yes, it should be my turn.
No. Yes, it can be your turn. Are you giving me sideways glances there? Maybe.
Like that?
Here.
What do you think I am, a Barbie doll?
No.
She gives the sideways glances.
I see.
It's supposed to be a come hither look.
All right. Wow, I'm glad we're doing a yes-no. I want to see that card again. Interesting. Very interesting.
What was the question again?
Will there be social unrest after election results are revealed? Yes or no?
So most likely yes.
It's most likely yes, but that's not a definite yes. And then we have the 7 again, the 7 of Wands upright. Everybody wants that, you know, everybody wants their result. Everybody wants it to turn out their way, and they're standing up to fight for it.
Yeah.
That's our cat in the background letting us know they're hungry if you hear some noises of a metal plate moving. So this is kind of interesting here. Nobody wants to give it up. Nobody wants to give it up. So,
well, they feel that they have the correct position.
So
that
even though, like in our
advantage.
last reading, we said that the outcome would be clear. Will the election, what was that? Will the election results be contested? It was a definite no, but that doesn't mean society at large is not struggling with the decision and what it means. And there just could be some violence or some outpouring of protest.
Right. There really hardly ever is a mushy middle. There's almost always really firm this, that.
We have one final question.
And
What about the Senate? Will there be a changeover in the Senate? We're going to throw 3 cards just to see what it says about the Senate race. Because some people are saying that, well, but you know, that the Senate is about to change hands. I don't know. I think the whole election, frankly, is too close to call for everything. So I'm not willing to make an opinion on that. I'm going to see what the cards say. And I'm not really sure the House was in kind of, any kind of, were there House members running, or is this just mostly the Senate?
I don't think it was expected to
Affect the outcome of the
affect
House.
their outcome. That they
Power
might
structure.
become more Democrat would
Or
probably be what they thought,
Yeah.
or was the expectation.
Yeah, I don't know. We focused on the Senate.
And I'll let you pull.
Okay, well, you can pick them up. Oh.
They're all major
Wow.
arcana. How interesting.
They're all major arcana cards. And the first one is the Hierophant. Talk about seats of power, eh?
Yeah.
Well, let's go on and do them all. And then we have the Hanged Man, which is kind of, in a way, about public service. And then we have Temperance.
This is a very hard reading to do here.
It is, but I have an idea.
These two cards are literally the opposite, and so that leads, in a way, to me, and so that leads me to wonder if this one in the middle is okay. Go on.
Well, I think you're onto something. It is hard, but I would say here that the seat of power is going to have some people possibly sacrificed. And there is going to be an imbalance. There's definitely going to be, there's definitely going to be a power inequity. It's not going to be close, but who is it going to be? My guess is with the Hanged Man, I just have a feeling that there is going to be a changeover in power, but I'm not really certain about that. You go, Mr.
I sort of feel that it's
status quo.
It's going to stay status quo. I'm thinking that's what that tells me. But at the other hand, this sort of says that they're not really the status quo because they're still imbalanced here. They have an immoderate view. They don't really have the sense of where things really are.
Do we need to do a quick yes/no on this one?
Maybe.
Can I use my after again for that?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. So we're going to just ask, is the Senate, is the power, what do we want to call it? The
balance of power?
The balance of power, thank you. Is the balance of power going to shift in the Senate after this election? Yes or no? That was really interesting.
It was.
Whatever's going to happen is going to be of great importance, one way or the other, because of all those major arcana cards. They were all major arcana cards.
Yeah, it's a very highly charged reading, or energy about the reading.
Wow, this has certainly been fascinating for me. I hope it is for you guys. We don't do these types of readings often. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Let me do this. Wow. Well, that's leaning towards no.
Yeah, it's not a very great chance of yes that things will change is what this reading says.
And so basically we have the Eight of Wands, and that's reversed. And then we have the Knight of Swords reversed. And the Ace in the middle just is letting us know that it's leaning towards no.
The question was about change, and maybe the question is slow. There's not really going to be a lot of energy towards change
It may be that,
in regards to the question.
yeah, it may be that, that no, the answer is that people didn't go for out and out change. You know, they're weary. People are weary and spent from this election, I think. And so, therefore, maybe some voted with the devils they knew, you know, rather than the devils they didn't know. So it's possible the Senate will remain the same. And then you have the Knight of Swords reversed. People may feel that they've voted this way because of a sense of justice or their reasoning behind justice, or maybe it was because they couldn't really make up their minds, so they voted for who they knew.
Well, the Knight of Swords can be about the comings or goings of things, and usually it's undertakings. It's trying to get ahead of a situation. And so when it's reversed, maybe it's trying not to damage a situation too much, not to tear it asunder. And so maybe this card is saying people didn't want to change too much. They wanted to keep, and it sort of goes along with the other reading in a way too. They just didn't want to make such a severe change.
But it's air and it's swords, and that's communication. And it's interesting because this sometimes can be about communication, the Eight of Wands. I feel that maybe people just don't really, you know, they're communicating that they need change maybe at the top, like we've indicated at the beginning, but that they like things the way they are in the Senate. I'm just going to have to go with that.
Yeah.
We could be right or wrong on this one too. It'll be curious to see which ones we've gotten right and which ones we haven't. And like I said, it's all for fun and entertainment. And we hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Mm-hmm. And, you know, regardless of whether we're right or wrong, that maybe you'll want to book a reading, a personal reading with us. So if we're too wrong, don't hold it against us.
So we'll attach information to this video and you can decide for yourself.
There you go. Well, we had fun doing this because I've been wanting to just test the waters, but like I said, we don't want to influence anybody's thoughts. So we're going to go on that note. And
I want Sonny to look at the camera too.
Oh, Sonny. There. Come here, son. There he is.
Say goodbye, Sonny.
Say goodbye. We'll see you all soon. Take care, everybody, and good luck on Tuesday. Saying this now.